Yes, today's webinar is one of the very exciting webinar. Before that, I would like to wish you a very happy and prosperous and wealthy and healthy new year to each one of you. Because today we are going to bring a very important topic for you all and for each one of us, what we need the most. And with us, we have our great person with me especially, and I would like to introduce. The first is Deyev. He is a founder and CEO of the Soulbox and the SOULB ID in a very short. And yes, among us, we have a Shem, and he is also a co-founder of Soulbox and SOULB ID and the Chief of Operations. So let us hear first that, and what is the SOULB ID and what is Soulbox and why it is so much important for each one of us from them, and then what are the opportunities behind and what we can use when we apply the MLCI. So that part I will share after we hear from them that what is Soulbox and what is SOULB ID, what is SOULB token, everything. So I would like to give a floor to Jin first. So Jin, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Lydia. It's a pleasure to meet you here. It's a pleasure to meet all of our guests. Before we proceed, I want to say, wish you all good luck in the new year, 2023. Hope life would treat us well and hope prosperity and love would be enjoyed by you. So again, thank you for the introduction. I would kindly ask you to ask the organizer to switch on the next slide, please. Yes, and let's start with the first topic. What are the soulbound tokens and why it's so important and why we make a focus on it? And when to start with, and probably most of you know that when the blockchain of Bitcoin emerged back in 2013, the development of the crypto industry and of the decentralized Web3 industry, it started from there. But what we see at the moment, we see that still addresses of the users are still anonymous on every blockchain. You can take a Bitcoin blockchain, nobody knows who this Bitcoin belongs to. Ethereum blockchain, nobody knows who has this Ethereum. And this, maybe 10 years ago, it was okay. But today, with the evolution of the industry, and we see how crypto and how blockchain becomes a basement for the financial operations. So it's not just a game anymore. It's a basement for financial operations. And we all know, regardless where we're from, regardless the origins, we know one thing. When we start speaking about financials, identity is the must. You can't open a bank account without a passport. You can't transfer, you can't open a company without a passport. You can't do anything without, in the finance world, without being identified. But what happens now is that you can still own a Bitcoin or own Ethereum or any other cryptocurrencies being anonymous. And this creates a very big challenge. First of all, for people, and secondly, for the regulations. Why? Because if you're following crypto, you may see that how many fraud and how many scams are out there. Why are they there? Because the industry is not regulated and because it's anonymous. So people can do anything, create any type of assets. And then one day you wake up and everything you invested in becomes a zero. And the problem of that is anonymity, because this ecosystem was anonymous. That's created a lot of the pressure and a lot of fraud by people. So soulbound tokens is the tokens that would identify each individual blockchain address.
Yeah.
So, and that gives an opportunity to create groups and environments, a group of blockchain addresses or people over the world that would basically whitelist and create a trust. You would also remain anonymous. Again, where you have a bank account, nobody knows it's yours, but you have this number. You can send this number to a person and you will receive money. You can open up a company. You can do anything. So basically what we are doing with the soulbound tokens is we attaching real people to real addresses. And we make blockchain industry more transparent from the operation standpoint, from the financial standpoint, and from the trust standpoint. And it's a very, very big topic that is the future of the evolution, because again, you cannot build a trusted financial system on anonymity. And this is the subject, and this is the main topic that we're focusing on with the soulbounds. Ross, please, I'm kindly ask you to add if you would like to add anything.
Sure. First of all, Lydia, thank you for the introduction. It is a pleasure to be here, and I'm very excited to share the thoughts about the soulbound tokens, what are the benefits and how your community can use it and how can benefit from it, what is the business underlying, right? And thank you, Jean, for your detailed explanation about soulbound tokens and what I can share to understand soulbound tokens, right? Let me provide you better understanding and explanation how we started this business and who we are, right? Because me and Jean, we started this business more than 4 years ago with creation of Stobox. And at this point, we are top 5 turnkey tokenization provider in the world that do the tokenization. And we also do the STO for their crypto unit, for Evorich, and for their STO token, right, of the crypto unit community. And we are top 5 providers in the world. And we have created 4 years ago one of the first platform for the STOs. And since that time, we have seen many crashes of our competitors, but we accumulated for the last 4 years more than 50,000 hours of research of different nuances of STOs, of regulation, about the utility tokens, about the business models, and currently help other businesses to conduct the tokenization, to make the STO in Stobox, right? And also, we created one of the first decentralized exchanges in the world optimized for security tokens. And in respect of our community, because usually I hear these questions from the community about what our community inside Stobox. At this moment, we have the most powerful, the biggest YouTube channel in our industry at all in tokenization, the YouTube channel of Stobox. And we already conducted the interviews with our partners and with our guests. It is vice president of NASDAQ. It is head of blockchain in London Stock Exchange Group. It is ex-legal counsel in Security and Exchange Commission. So we conducted many of interviews in our YouTube channel about tokenization and about the STOs, right? And during these 4 years, we get 2 awards. The first one as a best tokenization provider of the year from the Malta ABC Summit, the biggest blockchain conference in the world. And Stobox was recognized like best tokenization provider of the year. And a few months ago, we get the second award, like best tokenization startup of the year from the USA, right? And it is our next milestone. And also we worked with Maltese government, and we are working closely with different government. And we created a book with Maltese government from Malta about how to make the STO. And currently we're speaking in roundtables with Dubai government about their implementation of regulation of the STOs in Dubai and in Arab Emirates. And very important to understand our partners, because we have very powerful partners. For example, Fireblocks It is #1 custody solution in the world. It is Algorand blockchain. It is Ermlon blockchain. It is Metis blockchain that is founded by Vitalik Buterin's mom. So currently you see the slide with Vitalik Buterin, and we partnered with the company Metis that is founded by his mom, and we're speaking directly to her, right? And we're working together in respect of technical aspects. Also, we partner with SUB. It is #1 KYC provider that work with Binance, for example. And SUB will do the KYC for Soulbound ID as well. And with iComply company, they doing the KYC for the Microsoft, for example. And of course, we have our legal partners. It is Super Lawyer. And this company, our partners currently engaged in the question of the FTX, they're helping to solve this issue from the investor's perspective. So to sum up, for the last 4 years, we did too much. And we are top 5 turnkey tokenization providers. And that's why we created a Soulbound. That's why we created a SOULB ID project, because it is logical and it is organical development of the blockchain ecosystem. And as Jean mentioned, every person in the world need to have the passport to travel, right? To open a bank account, to go to the university. In every aspect of your life, you need to have the passport, right? That's why we in Stobox, me and Jean, we are co-founders of Stobox, we created our project Soulbound ID, SOULB ID, to provide this possibility for people and for businesses to participate in Web3 industry. And how to participate? Through the decentralized identity. So usually, and in real life, you have the passport, right? You want to travel, you give passport to the officer and enter the country. The same will be in Soulbound ID, but in decentralized form. What we're doing, that we're creating the Soulbound IDs in Soulbound project. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, Lydia.
Thank you, Ross. Thank you I think we should move on to the next slide. And if Lydia has any further questions, let's move on her agenda, with her agenda. Okay, then if you don't mind, I will continue. Is that okay? Okay. So, having said that, SOULB ID is basically an identity on the blockchain, let's look where they will be mainly utilized. Like, why would I need to have my identity attached to the blockchain address? And the first and probably one of the key is access to regulated environments. When we talk about security tokens, what does security token means? It's a share of the company. It's a part of the business. You cannot be anonymous. You can't hold a part of the business, so business doesn't know who you are. It's impossible. It's against all the laws, regardless. So the first is, in order to participate in any security token offering, and the STO token that is done by the Evorich and the crypto unit is not in exclusion, you have to be verified. And you have to have the Soulbound in order to access, because the technology doesn't know who you are. When you pass the KYC, when you've been issued a Soulbound, the data is stored. And once it's stored, you can go and buy and sell and trade and hold and invest and pay dividends and receive dividends. You can be a part of the regulated, it's a regulated environment. The company is a regulated environment. So in order to become a member of an STO or become a part of the company, from the blockchain side, from the blockchain agenda, you have your address, because you're not acting as a human being, you act as an address on the blockchain. So this address should represent you as the person. And at the same time, the address without the Soulbound cannot participate. Why? Because it's a danger. it's a regulated issue, it's a potential scams issue. You don't want to have in your company people who you don't know. That's a very simple. So the SOULB provides access to high regulated environments. The second point, it's also important, is that any new business, any tokenization, any STO, any company that does STO, they have their own deals. They have their good deals, especially the same as we now are presenting to the Evorich community. It's a good deal. Usually, when you are the first one, when you buy Bitcoin back in 2013, you probably be multi-rich by now. So that's an access. So this Soulbounds provide an access to early STOs of all the communities that are built on the Starbucks technology. So Evorich, crypto units, future STOs, Starbucks partners STOs, everything that we do will be fully integrated with Soulbound. So for regular investors, it's a possibility not to invest into some, NFT scams and be in danger of rug pulls and losing money. But you invest into decent companies. You would like to invest or you don't like to invest, that's up to you. But in this case, you're sure that a person on the other end is not just an anonymous address, it's the validated business. And if something goes wrong, at least you can appeal to the business, you can get your money back. So that's a lot of the whitelisting from the anonymity of the blockchain as it is now. And the third and a very important and interesting part, which you may also find it interesting, is decentralized society and Web3 referrals. Imagine that you have a community of people, let's say 50,000 people. But now, what is the framework that they are whitelisted on? For example, with the Evorich is a one story, but then how you can create your own communities based on just on the decentralized blockchains? You can't, because that's anonymous, and you don't want to build an anonymous community. Why? Because there is no trust. Once we all get our passports done, and we know that we have 10,000 people in this room, and the guy who is on the security, in the first door on the security, he checks the passports. We in this room of 10,000 people know that we're validated. We don't need to think anymore. We can chat, we can share business, we can discuss. We don't need to think of who we are, because somebody, a bodyguard outside, made us come into this room with a passport check. And we create a decentralized community having this passport being checked. And we can create any type of business in this room with that 10, 15, doesn't matter how many people, but we don't think about the risk. Risk has been removed. It's not our problem anymore, because now we speak to the people who have whitelisted. Again, that's a legal gateway. So that's a third very important point. And what we do is that from the Starbucks, and as Ross said, this is our complementary product, this is a complementary project. We can't develop this tokenization model, we can't scale it without whitelisting people, without people who have got their passports.
Without SOULB ID.
Without the SOULB ID. And then they can come into this room and without any risk, create tokens, share tokens, buy, sell, everything. And that's exactly what SOULB is needed for. And this is what we're doing with SOULB. Thank you. I'm passing the mic to Ross, I guess, and ask you for the next slide, please.
Yep, it will be perfect. Yeah, thank you, Gene. I will comment on the last slides. You're perfectly right. So what you guys need to understand, it is, if you would like to participate in the STO of crypto unit of Evorich, in the STO token, you need to have the Soulbound ID. It is very directly. Regulation is here. If you want to be with MLCI and with Evorich and participate in STO, you need to have the soul-bound tokens. And through the soul-bound tokens, you will open not only their STO of crypto unit. In the future, you will open the STOs of the Stobox, because in Stobox, we have at this point more than 60 clients. And just last month, we signed a new client, a multi-billion company in Qatar, and also we signed a multi-billion company in Cyprus. So through the Soulbound ID and through Soulbound token, you will be able to participate in the STO of crypto unit and other STOs of Stobox. It is your decentralized identity. You need to have so. If you want to travel, you need to have a passport. If you don't have a passport, you cannot travel, sit at home. You cannot enter the country, right? The same with Soulbound ID. That's why we with Soulbound ID, Stobox in cooperation with Crypto Unit community, Evorich community, with Mila, with Armands, we provide this unique opportunity for you guys to participate, to be one of the first. Because 99% of all of the people around the world don't understand what's going on. That's why they buying Bitcoin in the price of 60,000, right? If you would like to benefit from it, if you would like to participate, and if you want to make the profits, right, you need to understand the technologies and what is going on in this world. And by participating here now with Lydia, with Jean, and with Ross in this webinar, we're providing you more information, what will be in the future, because it is here. We can speak about it, we cannot speak about it, it doesn't matter. It is here, it is fact, right? And we provide you this possibility to understand what it is and participate.
Thank you, Ross.
Perfectly
Yes,
said, Ron,
perfect.
because
Please.
people may not be understanding that why we are doing the continuous webinar about this Stobox and about this SOULB ID. But they may not be needing today, but they will be needing 100% even in the future. So everyone needs to have this SOULB ID. That's why we are coming out. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Lydia. That's why we are here, to provide the understanding for the people, right? And get this and provide this a chance to participate in this offering that is not forever, right? It is limited offer. And if the people will participate, they will get benefit from it in this red crypto market and will access the STO of crypto unit, what is very, very important. Please, Jean.
Yeah, thank you. I would, before we move on, I just want to mention that if we think that crypto world would be anonymous, we think it's wrong. Some part always will remain anonymous, but the financial part, the most stable part, where people can trust, the trustful part, would be de-anonymized, and where the gateway to the legal de-anonymation of the whole industry. Because we're building the SOULB on Ethereum, we're building SOULB on the Binance chain, we're building SOULB on every chain that we're integrated with. So that's a very, very big, ambitious plan. Because with us, with the SOULB, the problem with the regulation, they're being solved. There's no more problem with the regulation. And this is why we built the SOULB and the technology on top of it, of the smart contracts, because now we can play with the smart contracts with people, not just with the addresses. So we can attach it to the legal world. And this is exactly what regulators were saying, are saying, and will be saying. And we're seeing this regulations in DeFi, decentralized finance. Of course, it has to be regulated. It is a finance. So I think there should not be any doubts on that. May I ask you for the next slide, please?
Yeah, and let me share some points in respect of regulation. So it is what I mentioned, right? Regulation is here, and already, for example, for your understanding, guys, in Europe, it is already created an authority. It is AMLA. It is AML authority in Europe, one authority that will regulate all the crypto industry in Europe, and it is already created. So regulation is evolving and regulation is upcoming. And what we currently see, what we see in DeFi. For example, 1inch, right? For example, Uniswap. For example, PancakeSwap, where you do the trading. All of these venues will be regulated in the upcoming months. And these companies are not ready. That's why they need also the Soulbound ID. Because what we do, we provide the compliance for the industry. Because you pass KYC one time, and then you are compliant. And it is important, you are compliant, and you can use any of the providers, and you can enter the Web3 and be compliant in this industry. And it is also very important to understand. So as Jin mentioned, regulation is here. It is a fact. And through the Soulbound ID, you can be a compliant in this environment, in this ecosystem, right? Because if you are not compliant, if you don't have SOULB ID, if you're not verified, you will not enter the big guys in the future and STO of crypto unit. That's why you need to have it, and it is a fact. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, Lydia. Please continue.
Thank you, everyone. Before we move on, I also ask you to maybe to get on the website called soulb.id, where we're constantly updating the information. soulb.id or starbucks.io, you will find the information there with the link. So let me explain what are different identities and what are we having here. Here we have two personal identities. We have updated this information. We have now three because we have added an accredited investor identity, and we have two business accounts. More information is available on the website, but let me put the following. If you would like to be an investor with a minimum, with a maximum check of 25,000, and that's dollars, and that meets the demand for 95% of potential investors, because $25,000 is a lot of money, regardless where. You're happy with having a personal web ID. So what does that mean? You go through the KYC process, you provide all this information once, and the data is stored and hashed on your address. That's it. And that's the simplest, that's the first ID that you start with. The additional personal ID plus is more for investors that would like to have and to invest much more, much more amounts from 25,000. Why? Because in this case, and the same with the bank will ask you where you got this money from. And this is what I call proof of funds, proof of address. So it's an additional proof, not just your face, not just your passport, but where you got the money from. And it's a very important. And this information is also stored. You comply with that. And it's a part of the business deal, because businesses don't want to accept big money from people who got it from a shady origins, And a lot of regulators look for that, because there's a lot of black money on the market. And if you open up a business, you do a tokenization, first thing you don't want to do is to accept black money, because what happens next? There'll be problems, not for you, only for you, but problems for the investors, for everybody. So businesses have to protect. But usually businesses the businesses who do the STO, they don't have the means of that protection. They don't know what they're getting. And this is why we introduce extended personal. It's the sub that does the qualified provider does the checks, and we say that person is eligible for big investments. And the company, like Evorich, like Crypto Unit, like all our clients, will be gladly accepting this address, this person automatically, because somebody did that compliance for them. And this is exactly what we're providing. The business, the third type, is the business ID. In Europe, in USA, in Asia, sometimes the investor is not a person. Sometimes investor is a company. You can invest as the company. And to do so, you also have to have your business validated. So that's just a set of your corporate documents. You pass to the validator, and the validator says, that company is a good company. That's it. So it may invest. And the last one is the plus, business plus, is the identity that provides the possibility of creation their own security tokens. So it's not just an investment. You're now becoming an issuer. You say, I want to attract investment. Of course, if you're attracting investment, you should not only be checked, you should be additionally verified. Because what if you just open a company for $200, get your business ID validated, and then you go to the market and say, invest in me, and people believe you. And sometimes, and we know that there's a lot of black cases and fraud cases. To avoid this, a business who would like to issue, become an issuer, create an STO, they have to have a plus account. They need to be additionally verified. So in this case, please look at the website. We have updated. It's not 4, it's 5. 5th is for accredited investors, special type of investors called high wealth rich individuals. You mainly they're in United States, in Asia, in the countries like Japan, Korea, United Kingdom, Switzerland, Liechtenstein. There's a different type of investors who invest from more than $500,000. So we have 5 types of identities, and all these 5 types of identities put on the blockchain can interact between each other based on the smart contracts, based on the DeFi, based on the rules that we are implementing. But it's not just anonymous addresses. You don't know who this address is. Maybe it's a company, maybe it's a high wealth, or maybe it's a regular investor from Middle East. Now, with these 5 identities, we can build an absolute financial logic, the same as banks have, but not on a centralized system, but on a decentralized system. And this is exactly where our philosophy goes. Yeah. Ross, please add.
Yeah, guys, and Lydia and your community, it is very important to understand that all of these packages that you see, personal Web3 ID, personal Web3 ID Plus, all of these packages will be paid in soul-bound token. That's why you need to participate, because all of these packages will be paid in soul-bound tokens, right? And in my last webinar, I also explained why you need to participate in soul-bound tokens. First of all, to convert them in decentralized identity, right? Because you will do it only through soul-bound tokens. And also, more tokens you will have, more tokens then you can sell to the people who are not understand and who are not currently on this webinar, but will be in the future request to get the soulbound ID. And how they can get soulbound ID? They need 2 tokens. And who have a tokens? You have a tokens, right? That's why you currently have their unique opportunity to participate with the bonuses up to 100% to get these tokens, to be able to convert it in soulbound ID, participate in the round of crypto unit, STO token, right? And in the future, to sell it to all of the people. It is 99% in the world who don't understand it now, like Bitcoin in the beginning, but will understand after. And it is your benefit. Why? Because you're currently spending your time in this webinar and you understand what's going on. That's why it is an opportunity for you, right? Then to sell this token to all of the people who will apply to get the soulbound ID, because they need a ID. Because in the future, all of the people in DeFi, as Jim mentioned and as I mentioned, will be regulated. So all of the people will be validated, will be verified. That's why you need to have it.
I saw the comment, and I'm saying that it's not just the utility token that Ross is mentioning, Soulbound, it's also the payment token, because the only way of payments, of getting those identities, would be the payment token of Soulbound. And this is why it creates a great potential demand on that. So it's not only It's not only we who are sharing this webinar, it's not only some part of the community, it's the potential of people who would be participating in all of our activities. They would need to have their identities verified. And this is exactly what we're doing. May I have a next slide, please?
Yeah, so now you understand why you as a person.
I would
Yes,
like to say something before putting on this slide, because with the previous slide, I would like to say that those who are having half of the million or above a million share your token or W share you. So if they have only the SOULB ID for one ID, is it sufficient, or what is your suggestion? People are getting confused regarding that. With the previous slide, can you put on the previous slide, please?
Yes. Look, in order to participate in a STO token by Evorich, the one that Armand was mentioning, you need to have your identity verified. So the prices are mentioned in US dollars, but they are paid in SOULB payment token, SOULB utility token. So in order, and because we as Starbucks, we partner with Evorich, we partner with crypto units, and we are setting up the technology to meet the compliance, to meet the demand of what Mila and Armand says. They have hired us, they have engaged us and said, look, guys, we need to have this project done and ready. Say, okay, the main concern is identity. So identity is the key. So in order to access the STO environment, you need to have your SOULB identity verified. Yes.
Only the personal Web3 ID price $10 will be enough for each and everyone, for the Evorich partners, or do they need to have the business Web3 ID plus, or what is your suggestion?
No, of course not. Most of the people, I would say, okay, if your amount of your security token, whatever Evorich, is more than 25,000, you would have to have a plus ID account, plus, with additional compliance. If you have less than $25,000, which is a lot of money, you don't have to have any of the three, and you just be enough with the first one. That's it.
So just I got an idea now. It's really interesting. So just now we have said that those who are having above 25,000, they need to have a Web3 ID plus. So likewise, can you explain a little more elaborate regarding Web3, because so many people are having, some are having 10,000, some are having 100,000, some are having 1 million, 2 million, 10 million. So can you elaborate a little bit more, so that people will be able to understand that for what type of packages they have to go for?
Let's put it this way.
Okay.
At first, Web3 ID. We don't think about, well, Web3 is the kind of blockchain technology abbreviation. It's the World Wide Web third generation. This is the smart contracts and the blockchain. We can forget about the Web3 part and look just as a personal ID. When you go through any, let's say you go to any crypto exchange, it says, go through the KYC, and it's a very standard procedure. Usually they ask you to put your name, family name, scan your passport, and move your head around so they know that's a biometrics, and that's enough. And that gives you an access before 25,000. If you start becoming a bigger investor, they say, okay, we just that simple is not enough. We need to know two other things of information. We need to know where you live, which is called a utility bill. Where are you from? Where you live? The proof. And the secondly is the origin of funds. Show me your banking statement, or show me where you got this 50,000 from. And this is a compliance. This is the world we live in. It's not something that SOULB creates. It's something that SOULB follows, because these are international rules. and we don't invent them. We just comply with them and make sure the industry is compliant to what we do. And that's it. So if we're talking about WCRU, STO token, if you are not participating as the company, if you're participating as the person, you don't need any business account. But that's a part of the future. If you want to create your own business, if you want to put your own business on the blockchain and be an issuer, issue your own tokens, you would have to have a maximum check. And it's not, we don't do checks. We're not professional in KYC, KYB checks. That's why we have engaged professional companies to verify. But for 99% of the existing investors, the personal ID would be enough. And for some of them, the additional verification, which stands for the plus, would be enough. Does that answer your question?
It's okay. And so my understanding is it will be always better to have a SOULB token as much as we can, because with this only we can buy the ID in future, and we can sell it out also for others, those who are willing to buy.
Of course.
Right, exactly. These thousands of people that will participate now, then we'll sell these tokens for the millions of people who will apply in the upcoming months. Exactly. Yes. And also to participate in crypto unit Evorich STOs.
Yes, can we have a next slide? There's very interesting part of information I want to share you, but I will share at the end of the webinar. That's something very unique we have recently discussed. Very special, and that also would add some point, utility, and the value for the tokens that we have just mentioned. Let's move on. And of course, we promote tokenization. We as Starbucks is very keen and very kind of opportunistic in development of security tokens. This is why with SOULB, we also implement dual token model. So there's a community token, there's a payment utility, call it anywhere, SOULB, and there's a security token. The security token, we're not going to talk about it now, but look, the security token will be represented 100% of the ownership of the company, of the SOULB company. It's not a Starbucks company, it's a SOULB company. And security token will be 100% tokenized with this, a SOULB company would be 100% tokenized with a security token. And guess what? Once we understand, once we go with the product live, and it's in next 2 months,
we're
already live. We're already live with the alpha and beta. So now we're finalizing and we'll be launching very soon the full product. Once we understand and finalize the financials, we would take that SOULB business and tokenize it. And part of this securities, part of the share of the business, we will swap with the Soulbound, with the community token. So again, the same way as you enter into identity, the same way you may enter into the business of the Soulbound by switching from utility token to security. But this is something we have not finalized from the financial standpoint, and this information we will share later on in this quarter, but definitely not now.
Yeah, so yes. This security token of SOULB will be in the future. Currently, we're talking only about the utility, the community, and the payment token Soulbound ID that you can find in your coin set cabinet and where you can participate. Next slide, please.
Next slide, please. Ross, if you would like, you may comment, so let me start. It's up to you.
Please start and I will comment.
Okay, so these are usually this type of data points they identify every individual token on the blockchain. So it's very important that we also mention them, even though they're very standards, but let me go through that as well. So the community token, the ticker would be SOULB. Again, we haven't, we will have the token minting event in the near future, but we have already reserved the ticker. So it's a utility token. It's a community payment utility token. The supply would be 1.5 billion tokens, and they would exist on numerous blockchains. Binance, Ethereum, and Polygon. Of course, in the future, we may also utilize it in the other chains, but that's done through what is called bridges. So that's a decentralized bridges. You can provide your token on the Binance and you get your tokens on the Phantom, for example. So that's the networks. We start with the average private sale round price at the 1 cent. If you look at the packages and if you look at the distribution, if you look at the conditions that we have provided to the average community, you would see that for some packages, we have added up to 100% bonuses, 100% bonuses, just for the community of Evorich. Why? Because we are partnering long-term. We understand that whatever Mila and Arman does with the average of crypto unit is not just an engagement. It's a long-term engagement for us. That's why we're providing the best possible conditions to answer at this point right now. The terms of sales, again, we cannot accept people. That's why we don't go to the crypto market. It's important that we provide this initial sale to the people who have passed KYC, who have been whitelisted. We don't want to do the same mistakes as we're against this. We're against anonymity. Again, you can play with this if you don't deal with finance. You create your own, colorful pictures on entities, NFTs. You create your own whatever. You sell, you engage. But that's one thing. Once you start playing with what is called decentralized finance, we need to be whitelisted and KYC from day one. And this is exactly why it's written in the terms of sales. The utilities of this token, first of all, is the payment for the issuance. You can't issue a soulbound if you don't have a utility payment token. Payment in the Starbucks ecosystem. We provide more and more services for the STOs, for the STO clients. So that token, our token SOULB, would also be a second token in the Starbucks ecosystem for the payment. We oversee engagements, decentralized engagements like staking, farming, rewards. So all these DeFi activities are now not anonymized, but they are now de-anonymized. And you can use this token for different, enhancement, different engagements. And we will be using a staking program. We'll be having a liquidity farming program. We will have this program later on. And all of this will be based on SOULB tokens. Something that I have mentioned is the conversion to security tokens. You may be able in the future to become a partner of this soulbound business just by having SOULB tokens today at the best price possible. That would give you much more, steady growth, not on the utility side, but on the business, on the security side. Couple of last points is the DAO governance. If you look at Starbucks, we have implemented what is called a DAO. It is a decentralized autonomous organizations. Imagine there's 50,000 people in the room and we would like to do something. And usually it's being done by the centralized unit. I don't know, us three Miss Lydia, Ross, and I, we make a decision and say, we're going to go left, or we're going to go right. But the community may think different. In order to hear the community, we have what is called a decentralized autonomous organizations. And the SOULB tokens, the Soulbound utility tokens, is your voting power. So we say, shall we open a new community in the Middle East? Shall we provide a 20% discount? And we all, that 50,000 may vote whether or not it's a good idea. So if yesterday is just the owners who, do whatever they like, now it's becoming more decentralized. And we are very keen and motivated in the decentralized driven organizations because they're more sustainable. All of us may be very smart, but as a collective brains, we're much more smarter. I may be not as smart in some parts, and everyone has that little part where they're smart. We can't see everything, but we, as a group, we can. So the sustainability of the business should not depend on a CEO or 3 or 5 people. This sustainability should be built on the community. Of course, there's much more professionalism in people who devote their professional lives to that. But hearing the community is something that what DAO stands for. And that is why we will implement the DAO as the governance body for the SOULB governance and the SOULB project governance.
Right.
The last but not the least is the investment allocation. Look, I'm currently in Dubai. The real estate is booming. We have a lot of clients from different businesses. And we know how real business grows. And sometimes it's very difficult to invest into something good if you are not exposed, if you're not, if not physically there, there's a lot of challenges. So by creating these whitelisting projects and by creating new tokenization projects with our clients, we give our community and the average community, all of the big community, a possibility to be a part of this in the very beginning. Imagine being a part of the construction of Burj Al Arab in the very beginning. Now the price of the square feet X20. Nobody thinks of that. But just investing into sustainable businesses in tokenization, that's something that would also be provided to the owners and to the holders of the Soulbounds. And for that, of course, you need the SOULB ID.
Right.
Thank you. Please add.
Yeah, thank you, Gene. You explained very good in detail what I want to mention. So, guys, as you can see, Soulbound ID token, right? SOULB token. It is a payment and it's a utility token of our project. So all of the packages that we described previously, right, about Web3, Web3+, and for businesses will be paid in Soulbound tokens. If you want to participate and take part in the STO of Evorich, you definitely need to have their Soulbound ID. And to have it, you need 2 tokens. More tokens you will have, more profit and benefit you will get. Because we have a different package that we will share soon with the bonuses up to 100%, right? And more tokens you will have, more profit you will get in the future after the token generation event and after the lockup periods. So Soulbound IDs will be used inside our ecosystem as a payment, as a utility token, as a governance token in DAO, in the investment limits allocation for a great project that we're tokenizing, right? So you definitely need to have the Soulbound ID. Please, next slide.
Thank you.
And of course, we will answer all of the questions in Q&A session in the end of the webinar.
Absolutely. Let me also briefly comment on the very important information. Again, it's a standard information, but it has to be here. That's why we have included. The total amount of the SOULB tokens that we would provide for the sale is 25% with the different stages. And now we're on the first private sale for the average community with a minimum price, the 25% of allocation would be reserved. Even though we are very happy being innovatives and being drivers of this, we're also work for the profits, and we're also keen in prosperity of this project. This is why all our team will be granted a 20% of this SOULB tokens vested throughout the development of the project, and a very important motivation for all of us, I mean, for all of the developers and the management of the SOULB ID. We will spend and allocate 15% for the marketing purposes. We're not going to speak about how we're going to spend it or with whom. That's a bit additionally. But that would be vested and provides it to the influencers, to people who promote us, people who add value to the community. They bring new people to the average community, to SOULB community. So marketing is a very important aspect. And we don't want to pay US dollars. Why? Because if people want to help us, if they want to promote us, they have to be in the same boat with us. In this case, they have to be appraised with our tokens rather than just with the simply US dollars. So this is why we have allocated 15% for the enhanced marketing campaigns that we'll have in future. A liquidity, at 10% of all the tokens will be locked in liquidity, which means that anybody who would like to sell and buy on the secondary market, that's when we finalize the first and the second sale, we go public. We list these tokens with the several exchanges. We have already identified few exchanges, and you know that we are. If you look at the Starbucks token, if you look at, we're very good partners with Gate.io. So I'm not, okay, my lips are sealed. That would be a liquidity. And the last but not the least is the DeFi activity. So that would be liquidity mining, staking, other DeFi activities that for which we have allocated 5% of the full allocation. And that's it. And that's it. We're not minting any more tokens. We're not creating an infinite supply. The supply is limited. So if you just look at the very simple graph, let me just imagine the graph. You have a stable supply and a growing demand. What will happen? I'm sure you probably get the answers. Yes, that's Ross, please add.
Yeah, exactly what you mentioned. It is a standard slide about the token distribution and about the phases of our round. We currently started our first phase, private sale phase 1. What does it mean for you? That it is the best price for you to participate because it is the first round, right? And after that, we will have more and more price for their Soulbound ID. So for you now, it is a great opportunity now to participate in Soulbound ID with the best price ever, right? That we're providing for you. Please, next slide.
Yes, I'm seeing the comments, and I just want to mention that all of the sales are conducted exclusively through the coin set and exclusively for the average community. So there is no offers being done outside. It's only within this compliant framework that the average community has presented to us with this coin set environment.
Yes. Yep. So you can see in the slide the sale distribution and the packages, right? And based on their slide that you can see that more package you buy, more bonuses you will get. And for example, for the biggest package for $15,000, you will have a 100% bonus. And guys, only one seat left. It is only 3 packages. 2 packages of the biggest package of $15,000 are already sold, right? And you have this possibility to participate, and you can participate from $10 to $15,000. And as I mentioned, more tokens you are buying, more bonuses you will get. And bonuses, it is up to 100%. I don't know where you can get such as terms, unique terms that we agreed for Evorich community with the best price for Soulbound ID in this red crypto market. So I think it is great chance to participate. Please, Lydia.
Yes, Dr. Lydia, please.
Yes, here I would like to mention some more points that
Please.
how long all this opportunity will be available in our back office of CoinSet? How long? So people
Look,
are asking.
that's a very good question. So we initially we have limited this offer till the 15th of January, but we have recently spoke to Armand, and because of the holidays, because of the different let's say occasions in our lives, we have made a decision to prolong this offering for another month. So this would be available till the 15th of February. But again, we will see how it goes. And as Ross said, some of the packages have already been distributed, sold, and few are lefting. So please don't hesitate. And but anyway, we have extended till the 15th of February.
Yes, again, why it is slow to buy is number one point is people are not able to understand that whether we need to buy or not. And the second point is to process this, especially for Indian community, as we are belongs to India. To process this, we need to top up in our CoinSet back office by using cryptocurrency. But maximum people are not crypto friendly and they are not able to top up. And when we talk with Armand, and Armand said that we cannot keep for in the Indian bank account for topping up because we have to pay GST. So, and then we have requested again that if it is not, then again, why don't you keep the unit transferring option? Example, those people who are crypto friendly, they can top up by using cryptocurrency, TRC20, whatever it is, and they will top up. And those who are not able to top up and not friendly with the crypto, and they can transfer to the specific person and they can buy it. If it is so that many people will be able to buy because of the topping up system, because of the all these thing limitations, people are not able to go even for $10, $25. And if we keep that relaxation little bit in our back office of CoinSet, we hope that all these packages will be able to finish up because as you know that we have how many partners we have and everyone needs to have this.
I perfectly understand, but we have, because we do the sales and we promote that via the CoinSet, we cannot, as Soulbound, we cannot, we do not accept payments. Is the CoinSet that does. So everything that we can accept, everything that is offered by CoinSet. And this is why I hope Armand would unlock these different opportunities and different possible ways of payments for all of the communities, including yours. But unfortunately, we as the founders, as the project of Soulbound, cannot influence on that. We hope that it would be unlocked, but we cannot. It does not depend on us. It depends on the CoinSet itself and on their payment opportunities and the payment methods. So unfortunately, we can't do much here, and it's a purely question.
Yes, exactly. Okay, we can.
Shall we move to?
Yes, some more point, because why we are so much eager for this is our company has put out our MLCI method here, and that is why people have more interest also, besides the compulsion of every person. So we need to buy somehow, maybe 10 unit or 25 or 15,000, whatever it is. Everyone needs to do that. So we need to do something in our back office for topping up or whatever, some system we need to do, so that everyone will get the same opportunity.
Absolutely. I think that's the best question to be discussed with Armands and the management of the coin set. Thank you. Can we ask for the next slide, please? Okay. That's again, the roadmap is very drastically changes in a better way. We are moving ahead of the curve, and updates you may find not only on the web on the slides, because we're very quickly updating and changing the points, that you can find them on the SOULB.id on the main website. So what we're having here, and this is the main things for you to remember and to understand, that we started as Starbucks, we started 4 years ago. As SOULB, we started last year. We have done the proof of concept. We have done the alpha architecture. Our Starbucks DAO is built on that. You can go on the link, you can try to vote. You won't be able to vote. Why? Because you don't have a SOULB. That's already being implemented on the first stages. We have selected the partners for the compliance checks, like I comply. We have selected some sub, and we're ready for the further development. In Q1, what we're doing at the moment, that's the first week of our 2023. And what we're having now, we're developing the full technology. We're now full on tracks. Why? First of all, is because very soon we will have the STO token by the crypto unit and the Evorich. And we're preparing the infrastructure for that. So for us, it's critical to deliver this project prior to the STO of the Evorich and the crypto unit. I've spoken to this with Armands and Mila. So we're building the project at the moment and the technology at the moment. Remember, I've told you about the decentralized autonomous organization. That's in our plans. We will be having more than 10,000 people. Maybe it's not a lot, but for the first iteration, it's a great amount. And we try to be more pessimistic than over optimistic. Say, okay, we hope that we will have 10,000 of people in Q1, but I know that we'll have much more. We will release a new type of tokens, because every token is a different contract. It's a different interconnection between the whole ecosystem. So it's not just you create a token. For us, it's the connecting this blockchain address with the token, with the technology, to the security tokens and so on. So for us, it's a lot of development, and we're in the process. We will update what will happen in the Q2, but we're integrating the SOULB into all of the Starbucks ecosystem. It's not only the average, but we have now 12 clients live. We have 60 more clients to go. We have a lot of activities, and probably let me pause on that. I think that would be the great time to explain you something and to share something with you which we've never shared. And I would kindly ask Dr. Lydia also to ask me questions if it's very important for you to understand that. Now, in our world, the businesses are legal entities. It's the business. But the most potential are locked within the humans. People are becoming influencers. Influencer is not a business, but it's a person. Some people sell advisory by hours. and they are not businesses, but they're human beings who are paid with the hours, by the hours. And when we get our education, meantime we grow and become more professional, our competency and our expertise grows. So our time 10 years ago, or our hours 10 years ago, worth much less than now. And that's true. So instead of businesses, we're unlocking at something which are called private securities. That's the concept where anyone, and when I say anyone who, of course, passed KYC and has the SOULB, may fundraise as the human being. Because we all live in a world where, I don't know, some people need to relocate, some people need to get additional education, some people have no, some people need to spend more time on the relocation. What if I would tokenize 1,000 hours now? My hours are, they can be represented in a monetary value. What if I sell these hours, I offer to your community? Imagine I'm a smart kid just entering the university, and I would sell these hours at the price of $10 an hour. But once I graduate in 3 years, my hour rate is now X5, X10. And now I may be a valuable part of the community, of the people. And I will redeem these hours. By redeem is that I will pay back whoever invested in me. And the SOULB is the unique project that allows investment into human beings, where a tokenization would be a tokenization of hours, tokenization of influencity. Are you an influencer? What if you fundraise $100,000 to become a better influencer? And then you say 10% of my income would go to whoever supported me. You would increase in value. And that increase is only possible on the blockchain, on the way how we see the world with the SOULBs. And for us, it's a much more picture than just STO. For us, is providing people an opportunity to change their lives now. Why would you take a credit? Credit means you have to pay back. In this case, I'm buying hours of people, and millions of people can buy hours of millions of another ones. Of course, some won't be successful, but some will. And if we invest into smart people, if we invest into influencers, we would be getting our ROIs, our returns from the humans rather than only from the businesses. And that concept is purely possible on the blockchain. And this is exactly where we go, because this is a disruption, especially for the people who don't have, means to change their lives, at the moment. And sometimes it's a very important, take your kids, relocate, and, and become more professional and pay back. And this is something which we believe it's a much more disruptive than the whole process of the STO itself. Does that clear for that? It's very interesting. Is that clear for you? If you have any questions on that.
So in the future, that in the concept that Jim described, every person in Evorich community that have Soulbound ID, that is verified, can do this vehicle, right? Can do the tokenization of their own securities and make the life better, because they will have a chance to raise money to, for example, relocate. And if you're the IT developer, for example, and you live in India, maybe you once you will get 100,000 to relocate to California, you will have much more your hour rate, right? And you will have more life conditions. And through the Soulbound ID, through the Evorich, it will be possible. And it is very important.
Yeah.
You guys are explaining in a different world type, something very difficult things, and we feel really excited to be a part of your all this SOULB ID and all, everything, and we are really excited, but it's really beyond our imagination what you all created. Really, we salute you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. That's why we're here to share their market insights, where it's going, right? And how you can benefit from it. Because as I mentioned, nobody understands it, 99% of all of the people. And it is a pleasure to us, for you, Lydia, and for the community members to share our thoughts that will be in upcoming months.
Shall we move on to the next slide, please? Okay, and we have a target. We have a target, and the target is 1 million users by 2025. And this is a very important number, because that's a purchasing power, that's a trusted investment power. And by that, we would have our personal securities done. So that's just ecosystem grows. But that's our vision for the next couple of years.
This very pessimistic, it is a very pessimistic digit, right? But we are trying to be realistic, and we hope that in the upcoming months we'll reach this target if everything will fine.
I think this 1 million Soulbound ID verified users in 2025, according to my perception, we can have more than this. Because,
yeah. We're trying to be as calm as possible. Sorry for interrupting.
Because once people understand that how important to have a Soulbound ID, then people will rush. And only thing is, as we are collaborating with our Evorich community, we have to make it little easier in our coin set how to buy this SOULB token, and then only it will make everyone easy, and we can reach not only 1 million, even we can target for 10 million even in 2025. That's all I want to say.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Next slide, please. Okay, yes, and probably that's the final slide. From the Starbucks side, we are 3 co-founders, and the third one who you don't know, but you can go on our YouTube channel. That's go YouTube, type Starbucks. You will see the first link. That's the biggest YouTube professional channel on the market of STO and tokenization. And on that channel, you see Boris, and because Boris is the head of analytics, he's working on the regulation side. He makes sure that all the compliance is met. So this young gentleman will explain you a lot. If you would like to go through all of his 87 videos, if I'm not mistaken, but that's from the co-founder side. In Starbucks, we have now more than 40 people, 25 full-time and 15 on a different part-time jobs, mainly technology, because there's a lot of development. Me and Ross are mostly focusing on the business development, on the ecosystem creation, on the roadmap. I'm a head of product as well. I'm in charge of the products. I'm a qualified technical specialist. That's my third high degree, which I got in US university. So I'm working as the chief of product, as the chief executive officer. Ross is the chief of operations. He's working also on the financial side. He's gluing the whole team and the founders and the business development side. We also have our trusted partners here. We have Sum and Sub. That's a KYC provider. You also may go on the website, on the Google, find Sum Sub. You will have all this information from them. We have a partner called iComply. That's a US-based company, mostly for accredited investors and for KYB, which is know your business, KYB checks. And we have our technical providers from Ukraine, our technical partners called Cody. These guys are solely developers, and sometimes if we have more challenging pressure, and from the time perspective, we engage them and help us go through the development faster. So yes, and that's it.
Yep, and for example, I comply that Jin mentioned that do KYB, know your business, right? They do the KYB for Microsoft, and it is great that we have such as partners. Some sub that working with Binance, for example, and I comply that working with Microsoft. And what does it mean? It means that these companies also believe in Soulbound ID and ready to work with us. And we already integrated and already working with them in respect of Starbucks and our products, right? And it's confirmed our concept and our roadmap and what we are doing, because those companies believe to Jin, to me, and to Soulbound ID.
Thank you. Let's go through the questions.
Yep. We are very happy to answer any question that you have in your community. So please, Lydia, it will be great if you can moderate, and Jin, me and Jin, be happy to answer.
Yes, any questions coming up that we can ask? Yeah, there are some questions. Yes, from Dr. Premila, the question is, if Indian bank is there and the coin set wallet for topping up, it will be easy to buy SOULB ID, and please make the SOULB for more time, at least for some months.
Look, let's divide this question into two. The first part, I would kindly ask you to refer to Arman's, because it's his part of the business. And for the second part, we got your point. We will think about it. It would depend on different factors, because we also need to to grow faster, and for us it's important to to stick with the timing. We already extended it for another month, but we definitely will consider. Let's hope for the better, and we will consider and tell you more on that a bit later. Let's move with this month. We see how it goes, how active, and then we'll make a decision in the future.
Yes, absolutely. This and before I read out another question, I would like to say, all my partners, please do ask your questions to the section of Q&A section. If you write in the chat, then we will not be able to see your questions. So kindly do write in the Q&A section so that we can read out your questions, please. Thank you.
Meanwhile, I've opened Q&A and see people writing, and I will just comment on that. How much personal information are we disclosing to the SOULB? Look, it's very important. You're not disclosing anything to SOULB, and that's the purity and the beautiness of the picture itself. The only thing you disclose is to the KYC provider. The same way you go through on the Binance, on the Gate.io, you pass this information to KYC provider, and the KYC provider says this person is verified. And what we do, we create the SOULB part on the blockchain. We validate it on the blockchain. We don't validate your past. We don't hold any documents. We know nothing about the personal data. This is especially why I have engaged regulated KYC providers to do their job. It's not our job to checks. Our job is to build a technology. And the information, as I said, is the passport information. It's a regular KYC data. There's nothing more special on that.
Yes, and the second question is coming from Sasikant Pal, and what he asks is, can we transfer WCRU or CRU from one wallet to another before STO?
Again, that's a question not referred to us. That's a question should be referred to the management of the WCRU. We're a side project, and we only focus on the soulbound identities and the future STO token that will be done on our dashboard infrastructure. That's the main point, because we have been invited and engaged to provide our platform for the Evorich community and to make this platform compliant. And this is what we do. So if it's possible and how it's possible on the existing frameworks, we have no information on that, and you should refer to the support of the crypto unit of Evorich.
Yeah, so what Jean is trying to explain, that we are not the team members of crypto unit, right? We are Stobox founders and Soulbound ID founders. So all of the questions related to Crew, VCRU, and from one wallet to another, we just cannot answer it because we don't know.
Let me also, I see the question, if you don't mind, it's important, I will mention. Look, once you create your SOULB ID, you don't need to create a second one. Any number of STOs, anything that you do in that compliant ecosystem will be fine with the one token. You don't need to double verify, to go through additional costs. That's identity that was you. Another point, which also very important, is that some businesses, and we would need to, some businesses would ask to go through the KYC, so remit the token. But that usually takes in 2 years. So let's say every 2 years, a person will have to update his identity in order to remain compliant. But I don't think that should be a problem for that.
Yeah, and also, sorry, and also I see the question that I promised to answer in the chat, in the comments 10 minutes ago. It was from Harish, as I remember, and I think we can answer this question. So normally there are no charges to do KYC with anyone, but here we are being pushed to buy soulbound tokens without explaining how this will help us to sell vCrew. And also we just being pushed into buying new tokens without telling us about the solution for vCrew. Please answer above questions. Yeah, so answering this question about their KYCs, right, on different exchanges, it is a solution, right? It is one gateway, and it is the passport that you get. To get the passport to enter not just only the Binance, because for example, Binance, you're right, they do KYC for free. But if you want to pass KYC one time and go through all of the Web3 industry that will be support Soulbound ID, you need to have the identity. And please note that this Soulbound ID, it is not only used in the tokenization, it is just only beginning. In the beginning of the presentation, we share the industries where you can use the Soulbounds as infrastructure, right? And you will be able to use it among the Web3 industry. Jean, do you have any comments?
Thank you. No, I also have this recent question, is that it says, except bonuses, what are the benefits for the MLCI community? And look, the point that I've told you, that I've mentioned, is that by having SOULBs, you will be able to issue your own security tokens as human beings, as businesses, and share it within the MLCI and the Evorich community. The WCRU, the STO token, would be beneficiary. So some part of the revenues, we have already spoken with Arman, some part of the revenues, for example, 5, 10, 15% of this revenue would go to back up WCRU. But in order to create an STO, you have to have this SOULB. So what we're doing is that we're not only providing an opportunity for the crypto unit to create the STO, but rather to all of the people of Evorich community. You will be able to create your own STOs, monetizing your professional knowledge and whatever. And some part of this revenue would automatically go to back up the main STO token, let's put it this way. I know it may sound a bit confusing, but it has to be digested. So there's a lot of this unique opportunity for the Evorich community, because you're the first community who will be able to create different type of tokens in a compliant way and promote it within your own environments. And that's a very important.
Regarding MLCI things, I will answer after we answer all these questions. I have some other points to share about MLCI related to with this SOULB token. Yes, can I go to the next question?
Please.
Sure.
Yes, from Alok Prasad Mishra, he has two questions. The first question is he's asking that individuals are mandatory to have business or plus ID, irrespective of a number of STO.
No, that's what I've said. That's a passport. With the passport, you can go in every country, you can travel. Just call it that's a gateway. So you don't need a passport to go to every individual STO. That's a one whitelisting process that you're gonna go, and then you will become a compliant.
And again, he asks that's correct. But if any individuals have more than $25,000 values investment amount of STO, is Web3 plus ID is mandatory? Please elaborate with details.
Yes, if your investment into any digital security, into any token, any STO token, is more than 25,000, an issuer, in this case a crypto unit, has to verify where this, the AML. It's a very important anti-money laundering. It's not because they want, it's because they are also being regulated. It's the way of laws, of the financial laws. So yes, there would be an additional information of proof of address, which is a utility bill, and proof of funds origin, which is a bank statement. And that would be enough for most of the cases.
And next question is from Sasikant Pal, and he's asking that for less than 25K WCRU token equal to $10. For more than 25K WCRU tokens equal to $15. I don't know what he's asking. For even 100K WCRU token equal to, we need $15 package or more. Yes.
The cost of the identity, look, the cost of the identity would be $15 in soulbound tokens. Yes. I'm not sure. I don't know the exchange rate, the price of WCRU, but we're not talking about the amount of CRBRU. We're talking about the amount of dollars. The regulation says if your operations exceed $25,000, you have to pass your proof of residency. That's it. And I mean, we can't influence that. So we created a token that would inherit this information. And by having this plus, the system will know that your transaction can be, can proceed. And that's it. It's embedded into the system by the rules of compliance.
Next question is, can we get this recorded? Yes, I should answer yes. And another question is, how much personal information are we disclosing?
That's exactly what
and how much control do we have?
That's exactly what we have answered before. SOULB does not possess any information that you are disclosing. The only information that, the only business that gets your information is the qualified KYC operator. In this case, it's a SOULB. The same way they whitelist the Binance people and the Gate.io people and so on. Again, usually that's just the passports and some of the face checks, but that's it. That's it. And again, SOULB, we don't have the access to this information. We, of course, and why do we engage a professional KYC operator? Because they're regulated. I cannot hold a database of thousands of passports, and then it doesn't work like that. So they have to be regulated. They are regulated. We engage with them. They hold your data. and we just know that they send us an API call. They say this person has been verified. Say okay, and we create a physical record on the blockchain that you're there.
Yes, next question is from Nelka Dimitrova. He asked that, can we convert SHARE to SOULB 1:1?
I doubt so. That's a question on the crypto, on the CoinSet side. I don't remember if you can or you cannot, but the ways of payments would depend on the CoinSet and on the Armans, because it's not our infrastructure. We do not make any decisions on that.
Yes, next question goes from one anonymous attendee. Why 2025 for SOULB ID when we have more than 10 million co-owners already present in the community? Why only 10 million, he's asking.
Because that's a good question. We are not responsible for the amounts of people who engage. We are, as an independent company, and we as contractors of crypto units, we share our own plans. If all of you guys want to get that SOULB and be whitelisted with us, and we wake up in the morning and we'll see already 10 millions, I will be more than happy. But we don't count on that. We count on ourselves and are grateful for your support rather than vice versa.
Yes, next question is from Jan Botung, and he's asking that if an investor don't buy NTT or not done SOULB ID, can he be able to transfer his WSHARE to a store box?
No.
No, I should say yes.
No, because the ecosystem of Starbucks requires by blockchain validation, and that means SOULB. So you cannot move from anywhere to the Starbucks, because Starbucks is that room with the passwords being checked. We want everybody in the room to be safe, to be financially healthy, and we don't know who we are, but we know because we're in this room, we have been verified. And it's very important for the trust purposes and for the compliance.
Yes. And from Rose Riser is asking that how many different STO, that's example, WSHARE or STO, can keep and trade in one SOULB ID?
Infinite. Again, look at this as a passport. We as Starbucks, we build ecosystem. Who are our clients? Different businesses who do STOs. That's it. So imagine there are different people are jumping on the bus. And what we develop a ticketing system within the bus. We develop a routing system. We develop a multi-stop system. We develop the bias bus system. We develop the ecosystem. But whoever has the ticket may be able to answer, to participate, come and exit. That's how you people think, how you're going to utilize that. We're here to build something which was never there. And we're here to help Evorich community and crypto units to accomplish the project of STO. And we're here not for guys to make mistakes, but rather because we have spent 60,000 hours on research and development of the legal aspects and the tokenization. We're fifth provider in the world doing so. We make sure that this bus has the safety lane and doesn't go to hell. This is very important because regulations are here. I mean, that's a complex things, and we are here to adopt them and to make sure that all this thing goes by laws. And we're building this, we inherit this. So of course, if once you have a ticket, you can go from on a roundabout.
Okay, another question again from Arun Kumari KS. She's asking that what will be another option for this SOULB for those who couldn't create SOULB ID this time? What will be the other option?
There are two stages. One stage is that you participate in the token offering. So you buy SOULB tokens. And the second one, you've been minted an identity. That's two parts. If somebody does not buy these packages, it means that in order to get the SOULB, you have to buy it from somewhere else. And as Ross perfectly said, people who are now buying on the private sale will not only create their own identities, but they probably will be selling these tokens to the people who are not attending this webinar. And there's a much more people who are outside this webinar than inside this webinar.
Yeah, I think we have only a few minutes left. And another question is from Kartik. And before that, another question is, can we upgrade from SOULB to SOULB plus ID? Same goes for business ID. Can we upgrade?
You can't upgrade. That's a separate check. So you get your first one. If you need to extend, you will go to the separate check. So it's like an additional, it's a new compliance check. You cannot add SOULBs altogether. It's a new SOULB, but again, we're only talking about, that's a minor expenses. What's the difference between, $10 and 15 on that bigger scale is not substantial, but it's important that a person, because we'll look from the safety side. As our partner SumSub provides you that one window to pass these documents, and you cannot spread it. That's the one window you provide these documents, you've been verified. You can't, bring part of the documents today, and then within a year, you say, okay, I will add some more. No, you have to revalidate, because it's the rules of the compliance that we are adopted to.
Yes, and
The next question.
Yes.
Yeah, and I want to mention that all of that Jim mentioned, the packages 10, 15, or Business Plus will be paid only in soul-bound tokens. That's why you need to have them. Not in dollars, but in soul-bound tokens equivalent to dollars.
Absolutely.
Okay. So next question is from Kartik. And his question is, accept bonus to buy and hold more tokens. What are the extra benefits for our MLCI community? So this question, should I answer from our MLCI True?
Sure.
Yes, I would like to answer regarding this question that, yes, we are so happy that whenever we have something in our back office, the coin set has been put up. So whoever processing there, they will get all the MLCI benefits, because Sir Andrey, our CEO, Andrey Khovratov, always give a priority for his mission, the new economic evolution of the world. So he gives the same opportunity for this SOULB token also. So those who are processing, you will be able to enjoy 8%, 7%, 5%, whatever the MLCI has given to our CRU Evorich back office, whatever the MLCI, a business model we are applying here in our coin set back office also. And not only that percentage, you can achieve as a consultant manager, leader manager, whatever the rank we have, all this also you can achieve through this SOULB token by using this back office of CoinSet. You can apply, you can use this also, and so that people are so excited, and you can use this and plus share you backup Evorich and back office. You can work together, combine together, you can do it. And not only the bonuses you enjoy, and you can get that also through this CoinSet back office by purchasing this SOULB ID. That's what I wanted to answer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes,
I
and
think
next.
we're up to, yes. Please. Couple of more questions, and I think we are running out of time.
Yes, we don't have much time, only a few minutes is left. Yeah, the question is, what are the benefits of SOULB tokens financially wise? It is written, it isn't transferable. How can we sell it? Why it will be frozen for 1 year? Two questions.
Yes, look, let's differentiate between the utility, community, and the payment token, the one that is being offered through the packages on the coin side. This is the payment token, community token, and the identity token. The identity token is an entity that's, I'm not going to go into specific technical details, but it's sent on your address, on your blockchain address, and you cannot move it. The same way you cannot move your photo on your passport to another person. You can't share the passport.
You can sell your passport.
You can't sell your passport. But the money that I use, the community token that I use to issue those identities, of course, they will be on the DeFi. You will be able to sell them. You will be able to put them into liquidity, staking, all these DeFi activities, they would be available. The part of the question, why should be they locked? Because that's an investor protection. Look, we are giving the best price on the Soulbound. And the first phase will lock for the 12 months. And the second phase will look for 6 months. But the price is already 50% higher. Look at the digits. So now let's say you buy something for $100 and then it's locked for a year. For that, you will be already given, because you bought, you will be given your identity. And that's an access to the STO. But in 12 months, you will be able to sell your utilities. And we created tokenomics in a way that we're all beneficiaries, because we don't want somebody to start selling and creating a sell pressure, bought this token at the lowest price. Here, we're creating the economy, and the private sale will start, not the private, but the public sale will start from the price of at least 2.5 cents. So now if you buy, let's say, less than 1 cent, within 6 months, within 3 months, the price that we're just offering on the public sale, it's already X.5 to your price, to the existing price. And this is how tokenomics works. And we don't want to promote, extensive sale for, the selling pressure. We don't want that, you see many times, if you're in crypto, you may see these graphs when there's, some green candles, and then one day, and it all dropped. What happened? People sold. We don't want that. We want a steady growth. And to remain that steady growth, we develop this locking periods, and that's part of the game.
So answering the question why it's 1 year, because you will have the best price, the lowest price, with the bonus up to 100%. And we want to protect all of the investors from the selling pressure, because it is enough. And it is very fair, right, in respect of all of the investors. You get the lowest price, the best terms, but you have the lockup period. For all of the guys that will buy their Soulbound in a year, right, with the price of 10x from the private sale, of course, it will be different, right? So you will have at least what Jin mentioned, X.5, X2.5, X10 from the price without doing anything.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, next question is from Tom Major. Year 2025 set for 1 million SOULB ID when the community has more than 15 million co-owners already. I think this question has already answered.
Yeah.
It's already been asked.
Yeah. And second question is from Jen Rustam, and he's asking that STO or STO box, then when the generations or use in STO box. I don't get it.
I don't get it as well.
Yeah.
Look, let me point this way. You can go Stobox.io. That's the simplest. Stobox.io, and you will find all of the information about exactly Stobox.io, about us, about our history, where we're from, what we're doing, who we are, what have we done, who are our clients. From there, you can find on the YouTube all these hundreds of videos altogether.
Right. We
have the biggest community on the YouTube in the professional community in tokenization. There's no channel on YouTube that speaks about tokenization to more people than we do. I know they may be small in today, but the tokenization is like a baby today. It's a very young evolution.
Movement.
It's a very young business. It's a very young paradigm. So we're working on this for the last 4 years. You can see what we've done. We have a great history, and we are, we're moving on regardless. So thank you,
Thank you,
Dr. Ilya. Thank you for organization.
So a few more questions is still there. So Zain, if you still have questions not able to understand, then you can contact me directly, no problem. And one question is more from Nagendra, and he's asking that, can you please provide us the information about SOULB in the back office of SOULB to reach the information to maximum community? It is there, everything, I think, even in the YouTube also, just now it has mentioned. Yes, and from Trinda, no, I should answer before your question is reading out. Can we buy using units that we have in the Evorich bonus? Well, no, cannot do that. And the last question is from Kartik again. WCRU will be changed in future other name. If so, then why is it necessary to change? The last question.
I don't get it.
Could you repeat?
WCRU will be changed in future other name. If so, why is it necessary to change? He's asking that, are we going to change the name of the WCRU in future? And then why it is necessary to change? That's what he's asking.
Look, that's a part of the business that that a bit goes outside from us, because again, there's a WCRU token, there's a Evorich community, and we as Starbucks, we help multiple clients, and Evorich and crypto units is one of our clients, preferable clients. So we do our job, and our job is to build technology, provide dashboards, and provide environment for the STOs to be compliant. And because there's so much of you guys, it's impossible to manually manage the STO. This is why we started rushing with this SOULB to automate, to unlock the STO for your community. But the details of your STOs, the timing, whether or not what type of tokens will be or won't be, the exchange rate, unfortunately, we don't have this information because we're just contractors. It's the information to the management of the crypto units and the average STO. We're just working on the technology and make sure it's all be done in a regulated and a proper way.
Yes, I think we've finished all the questions and answers. So thank you so much, Jin and Rose, for your valuable time and given for our, especially for Indian community. And hope we will meet again with a different language again. And thank you so much for today. And we have any more questions, then I will contact you so that we will be able to give the more clarity and more answers to our community.
Of course.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, all of you. Let's share this. Let's share this video. Let's share more information about Starbucks. Thank you, SOULB. And thank you for your support. Participate, and let's move on. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes, all the partners. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.